Hello everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zelfi Okti Fianefa and my ID number is 210181113 and I'm from K121. Today's video, I'll make this to fulfill my midterm test, that is academic grading. Material is literature review. Before we start, I want to ask you, do you know about literature review or have you ever heard about literature review? If not, I will explain it to you before we going to the video and to the next material. So, literature review is providing an overview of previous studies on a topic that critically evaluates. So, before you make some research, uh, you need to review some of literature or some articles to make you easier to make your research. To make this literature review, you also need to make metrics. So using a review matrix enables to quickly compare and contrast articles in order to determine the scope of research across time. Metrics can help us more easily spot differences and the similarities between journal articles about a research topic. Okay, in this literature review, I got the title or I choose the title is the problems in speaking faced by students in Indonesia. My purpose in choosing this topic for literature review is because the problem from the research question, okay, you can see my research question, what is the problem that will come when speaking in English, is occurs a lot among students. Therefore, this literature review can add my knowledge and also being an evaluation for all of us to overcome problems that arise when speaking English. Okay, some students in Indonesia have limitations in communicating in English. Many of them, even my own friends, complain and ask how to speak English fluently and confidently. Therefore, I choose a topic and research questions related to this problem. So here, there, there are some of my research questions. That is number one, what is the problem that will come when speaking in English? And number two, how do the psychological problems in speaking English? And three, what is the impact of this problem on students' skill? And as we can see, uh, here is my table from my 10 article. And from the 10 article, I choose the time from 2010 until 23. So the article number one, the title is Students Voice EFL Speaking Problems on English Day Program at one senior high school in Indonesia. So this is the author, setting, population, and discussion and result. And this is number two. Also talk about the problems in speaking. That is from Natalia Rahayu. The population is from boarding school or senior high school. And yeah, this is from senior high school, Husnul Fatimah Islamic Boarding School. And number three, willingness to communicate in English. And then we still talk about the problems. And then the next article, the fifth article, this is about also problems in speaking skill from Ikrar Kenidal Riyadil. Sixth article, this is psychological problems, and I have put this article to my research question, and we can go back there later. The seventh article, also psychological, that impact the communication in English to students. Uh, and then eight article, an analysis of advanced level students to perform their speaking English. This is the analysis and how the performance from the students in their speaking skill in English. And the nine article, a study on students' English speaking problems. That is talk about also speaking problems. And the 10 articles, also problems of English speaking. And this is from Islamic Boarding School by Siti Hadijah. And from 10 articles, I um and I think from the 10 articles, it has answered my questions, my research question. Uh, and from the 10 articles, I also have um, learned and read some of the result of and discussion from each this article. So it is answer my research question. Okay, we explain about what is the research question number one. What is the problem that will come when speaking in English? So I got the conclusion that when conclusion that the problem that will come when speaking in English is the problem number one is linguistic problems. So linguistic problems that will occur in speaking are lack of vocabulary needed to talk, and number two, poor in grammar, number C, poor in pronunciation. Okay, let's see. The first one is the problem in vocabulary. Vocabulary, vocabulary is the knowledge of meanings of the words. The words come in at least two forms, and the problems of vocabularies occur when someone is lack of vocabulary needed to talk and doesn't know how to combine the vocabularies into a good sentence. That is from Khan 2005. Once again states that the numbers of students who learn English as a foreign language have difficult to use word and expression to speak. So, um, when they have to switch the language itself into the target language, such as English, they often get confused to combine and use the proper vocabularies needed. Okay, the problem number two is grammar. Grammar is a study in which sentences are structured and formatted so that it may be considered a bit boring to study correct grammar since it really is worth the time and effort. Um, For example, the learner who has mastered the third singular present mark on the present tense verb is likely to overgeneralize the rule and apply it to a newly emerging modal verb, thus producing errors such as she can speak English. This error may appear when the student speaks since they have not mastered the English grammar. Problem number three is pronunciation. For example, a speaker might say, "It's hot today," as "It's hot day." This is unlikely to be intelligible because of inaccurate sounds, stress, and patterns. As a result, a listener would not find the speaker comprehensible because the meaning is not available. So that has answered my research questions number one. My research question number two is how do the psychological problems in speaking English? I also had the conclusion. The psychological problems are those problems which often interfere the emotional or physical health. The psychological problems may bring negative effect towards students' speaking performance. The problem number one in psychological problems is lack of self-confidence. And for the self-confidence, lack of self-confidence may bring the students into a threat of believing that they are not going to be a good English speaker. This lack of self confidence also becomes a great problem which affects students' speaking performance. It is difficult for the students to master English speaking if they are not confident with their own speaking ability. And the problems number one is anxiety. In this case, the students may end up with nothing to say towards their interlocutors or the audience. They may confront certain feelings such as nervous, anxious, worry, shy, feeling afraid or fear of something worse happen whether they are trying to speak better. Students themselves have to realize their own psychological problems and they also have to deal with their own anxiety states. So, the students can speak English better in the future. So the students from my research question, how do the psychological problems in speaking English? That is number one is lack of self-confidence and then anxiety. You need to enhance your speaking ability to face your like self-confidence and anxiety. So the impact of this problem on students' ability to speak English is that students don't dare to try because they do not have sufficient knowledge of English. So in my conclusion, there are several problems in speaking English, namely lack of vocabulary, errors, pronunciation, lack of self-confidence, and anxiety. So this is about my literature review, and if I have mistakes, please forgive me. And Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.